When I first encountered the idea of Sheela-na-Gigs during my trip to Ireland in June 2018, I was immediately intrigued. Only later did I notice these stone carvings of female figures were showcasing their exaggerated vulvas, sometimes half the size of their bodies. Sheela-na-Gigs are a display of contradictions. While tilting their hips forward in a sensually inviting manner, their facial expressions often carried a menacing quality. The vulva, despite being the focal point, stood out amidst the withered bodies of elder women. They possessed skeletal ribs, often lacked hair, and their countenances resembled the visage of death. These carvings, created between the 12th and 17th centuries, can be found on the walls and doorways of predominantly Celtic churches, monasteries, and sacred sites across Western Europe, including France, Spain, and the British Isles. In addition to sacred architecture, Sheela-na-Gig figures have also been discovered on castles, bridges, holy wells, tombs, and standing stones. The largest concentration of surviving carvings is found in Ireland, with about 115 examples. One notable carving can be found in the Round Tower at Rathoo, County Kerry, Ireland. There are ongoing projects that aim to map the locations of Sheela-na-Gigs in both Ireland and the UK, and I will provide links to these projects in the description below. The most widely accepted theory of their function suggests that they serve as apotropaic symbols, intended to protect against evil influences, much like the gargoyles seen on Gothic cathedrals. In Ireland, some carvings were referred to as the Evil Eye Stones. Sheela-na-Gigs assume the role of guardians, particularly over vulnerable boundaries. By being situated often near or on openings, they watch over susceptible areas of walls, doors, windows, and the threshold between interior and exterior realms. A parallel can be drawn with the wooden female figures known as Loughcrew, intricately carved and placed above the doorways of chiefs' houses, in the Palawan archipelago. These figures depict women with their legs spread apart, revealing a large, black, triangular pubic area, while their hands rest upon their thighs. Similar to Sheela-na-Gigs, these female figures serve a dual purpose, safeguarding the well-being of villagers and warding off malevolent spirits. The vulva itself symbolizes entrances and exits, representing an invitation to embrace sexuality, a passage through birth, and paradoxically, a symbolic return to the Divine Mother in death. Sheela-na-Gigs assume the role of deities overseeing passages and transitions. Sheela-na-Gigs, in their role as a symbolic return to the source, are frequently positioned on the external walls of churches, often overlooking burial grounds. In some cases, these figures have even been utilized as grave markers. Functioning as folk deities in charge of birth, specific Sheela-na-Gigs are depicted as pregnant, while others cradle infants in their arms. In addition to assisting with the birthing process, it is believed that these figures ensured fertility among humans, animals, and crops. Thus, the creative powers symbolized by the vulva played a pivotal role in ensuring the abundance and fruitfulness of nature. Repositioned Sheelas, referred to as hags of the castle, were often situated high atop castle towers, serving as protective guardians of territorial boundaries. Just as the Sheela vigilantly watches over entrances and windows, the elevated placement of the Sheela as a hag of the castle fortifies her domain against trespassers when perched on castle and church walls. This strategic positioning grants her a commanding view of her territory. Irish kings and chieftains employed Sheela-na-Gigs on their castles as an assertion of their ancient sovereign right to the land of Ireland, thereby establishing a connection between the Sheela and the Celtic goddess of sovereignty. In ancient Irish mythology, there is a tale of a goddess who possessed the power to bestow kingship. In her initial manifestation, she would appear as a provocative hag, and the majority of men would reject her advances. However, there was one man who accepted her proposition. Through their intimate encounter, the hag underwent a remarkable transformation, becoming a stunning maiden who would then grant him the status of royalty and bestow blessings upon his reign. The last great power that the Sheela-na-Gig possesses is the ability to heal. Those that are within human touch bear the evidence of centuries of being rubbed, because of a belief in the Sheela's magical ability to bring good luck. The stone dust from her vulva is thought to have curative powers. Interestingly, sensitive people have also noticed that the placement of the Sheela seemed to align with Earth's energetic ley lines. In 1843, Johann Georg Kohl, a German writer, published the results of his 2 months of travel in Ireland seeking out the Sheelas. He discovered that the Sheelas existed not only as stone monuments on a wall but also as living women. For those caught in the spell of the evil eye, their affliction could be lifted and good luck restored by these wise women by them lifting their skirts to display their female nakedness. Kohl records that these women were called and are still called Sheela-na-Gigs. A 20th century story comes from Dr. Edith Guest. She affirms the ancient custom of females displaying themselves to dispel evil and that such females were called Sheela-na-Gigs and are almost always elderly. Considering the prevalence of Sheela-na-Gigs primarily in Ireland and the British Isles, a potential clue to identifying the nature of this figure lies in examining the Celtic goddesses. The Sheela-na-Gigs are widely believed to represent the Cailleach, also known as the hag or the crone, which is a significant figure in the pagan trinity of the divine feminine alongside the maiden and mother. In Gaelic mythology, the Cailleach is a revered ancestor associated with the creation of the landscape and the domain of weather, particularly storms and winter. Her influence is still evident in various place names, such as Sheela-na-Gigs, the Hag's Head, at the southernmost point of the cliffs of Meath in County Clare. In medieval Irish literature, she is referred to as the Hag of the Mill, while in modern Irish folklore she is known as the Hag of Beara. In Scotland, she is recognized as Beara, the Queen of Winter. Similar figures can be found in other European folklore, such as Frau Holly in Germanic folklore and Huldra in Scandinavian folklore. The association of the Cailleach with the millstone will suggest that amulets with pierced stones or standing stones with holes may have been remnants of ancient Cailleach worship. She is also linked to the Wheel of the Year, particularly the winter months between Samhain, November 1st, the first day of winter, and Beltane, May 1st, the first day of summer. According to the mythology, she is born on Samhain, becomes younger and more powerful throughout winter, and transforms into a beautiful maiden by Beltane. However, her power wanes during the summer, and she ages once again. As the goddess of winter, she holds sway over the fate of people and possesses the power of life and death during the harshest season. To appease her, people give offerings like sweets and coins, a tradition that can still be observed at Sheela-na-Gigs sites. So how is the name Sheela-na-Gig derived? Sheela, pronounced Shelu, represents the first woman and the eldest of the ancestors. The more common spelling, Sile, translates to hag. Gig can mean a branch, a sapling, a young female, or a nymph. Thus, a likely interpretation of Sheela-na-Gig is Sheela with the branch. Sheela has the power to freeze the earth by striking it with her branch, thus ushering in the onset of winter. It is intriguing to observe the interplay between Christianity's arrival in Ireland through St. Patrick, the country's patron saint, and its influence on the existing Celtic pantheon, particularly the cult of Lough and the Celtic gods and goddesses. During this transition, a figure named Sheela emerged and became associated with St. Patrick as his wife. Initially, their celebration spanned 3 days, from March 16th to 18th, coinciding with the spring equinox. However, over time, this festivity transformed into the one-day event we now know as St. Patrick's Day, observed on March 17th. Notably, March 18th was formally recognized as Sheela's Day, linking it to the hags and the transition from winter to spring. During my visit to Loughcrew in County Meath, I had the opportunity to explore these ancient structures that date back to 3500 to 3300 BCE, making them even older than the nearby Newgrange. These structures are situated atop Sheela-na-Gigs, known locally as the Hag's Mountain. The Loughcrew Cairns, comprising approximately 30 passage cairns, serve as an early form of a calendar, with each passage aligned to different periods of the year. Of particular interest is Cairn T, which exhibits a phenomenon where a beam of sunlight enters the rear chamber during the sunrise of the spring equinox in March, and also during the autumn equinox in September. Outside Cairn T, there is a curbstone commonly referred to as the Hag's Chair. However, there is no sign of a Sheela-na-Gig around the Loughcrew Cairns. While the Sheela-na-Gigs are believed to represent the divine hag in Irish mythology, their symbolism can be traced even further. The earliest known depiction of a goddess resembling the Sheela-na-Gigs is the Neolithic frog goddess, dating back over 8,000 years. This ancient deity takes on a hybrid form, combining a squatting frog body with a prominently depicted human vulva. The toad, symbolizing the goddess of death and regeneration, represents the dual functions of bringing death and restoring life. This imagery finds resonance in Egyptian mythology through the frog-headed goddess Hecate, and in ancient Greek mythology with the deity Hecate, also known as Bobo or Toad. The term toad often carries connotations of a witch or prophetess in various European languages.